Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. There are a few names in fashion that define what it means to be a modern style icon, and Kendall Jenner is undoubtedly one of them. Over the years, she's transformed from a reality TV teen into a global supermodel, and along the way, she's quietly built one of the most influential wardrobes of our generation. Kendall's style isn't about flashy trends or over-the-top statements. It's about the art of subtlety, the right fit, the power of restraint. She blends model off-duty essentials with timeless tailoring, adding just enough edge to keep things fresh but never fussy. In this video, we're breaking down every layer of Kendall Jenner's fashion identity, from her daywear and red carpet moments to the outfit formulas you can recreate at home. So whether you're drawn to 90s minimalism, quiet luxury, or just want to elevate your wardrobe with a model's eye, this guide is for you. From her early days as the most low-key Kardashian to becoming a high-fashion runway regular and one of the most influential street-style muses of our time, Kendall Jenner has carved out her own fashion identity. She's not just following trends, she's setting them. Whether it's quiet luxury, 90s minimalism, or reimagining classic pieces in modern silhouettes, Kendall's style is aspirational, relatable, and always a step ahead. She's often described as the model of the moment, not only for her career but for how she makes everyday outfits look editorial. Kendall's signature look is built on a strong foundation of clean silhouettes, elevated basics, and sharp tailoring. Her closet is filled with well-cut trousers, minimal blazers, vintage-inspired denim, simple tanks, and versatile outerwear. Color-wise, she leans heavily into neutrals: black, beige, off-white, muted olive, and charcoal gray, with the occasional pop of red or mustard in colder months. She loves pieces that toe the line between masculine and feminine, pairing oversized coats with tight tops, wearing loose trousers with bralettes, or grounding a super sheer dress with structured shoes. And even though her outfits can look effortless, there's always something intentional happening. A proportion play, a textural contrast, a flash of skin done with total control. It's that quiet confidence that defines her style. In the early 2010s, Kendall's style was exactly what you'd expect from a teenager growing up in the spotlight. Her looks were soft, casual, and a little trendy. Skinny jeans, floral dresses, ballet flats, and a rotating collection of leather jackets. She experimented with bright colors, statement accessories, and lots of prints. Nothing too daring. She was still figuring out who she was, both personally and stylistically. But even back then, you could see hints of the minimalism she'd later embrace. Her outfits often had a clean silhouette, and she never leaned too hard into over-the-top glam like some of her peers. It was a quiet start to what would become a very focused fashion journey. This was the turning point. As Kendall's modeling career took off, her style became sharper, more directional. And suddenly, she wasn't just following trends, she was setting them. She became a poster girl for the model off-duty aesthetic: crop tops with high-waisted denim, bomber jackets, hoodies, and bold sunglasses. She leaned into oversized outerwear, sheer layers, and streetwear influence, all while keeping the color palette muted and cohesive. This era was also heavily influenced by her inner circle: Hailey Bieber, Gigi, and Bella Hadid, and her collaborations with brands like Yeezy. Kendall's outfits started showing up in paparazzi photos, Tumblr dashboards, and early Pinterest boards. It was cool girl fashion with an edge, and it cemented her as a style reference. As she matured, so did her wardrobe. Between 2018 and 2020, Kendall started to shift away from trend-heavy streetwear and into a more thoughtful, elevated aesthetic. She embraced what we now call quiet luxury, choosing simple silhouettes, expensive fabrics, and refined tailoring over logos and hype-driven fashion. This was her silk slip dress era, her tailored trouser era, her Bottega Veneta heels, vintage Prada bags, and neutral monochrome looks. She started wearing more vintage designer pieces. Celine, Tom Ford-era Gucci, and brands like The Row and Kate became regulars in her rotation. There was a clear sophistication here. Still cool, still Kendall, but with a quiet power behind every outfit. Today, Kendall's style has fully bloomed into a modern minimalist dream. She's embraced long coats, wide-leg trousers, slinky dresses, sheer blouses, ballet flats, and a perfectly undone 90s sensibility. Her wardrobe has become the blueprint for the clean girl, quiet luxury, and model off-duty aesthetics we see all over TikTok and Instagram. Everything she wears now feels timeless, but fresh, like it could have been worn in the 90s, but somehow also feels like a vision of the future. She rarely experiments with loud colors or prints, and instead focuses on proportion, fabric, and styling details that make her look effortlessly composed. This is Kendall at her most refined, understated but unforgettable. She's not chasing attention. She's drawing it in by doing less, but doing it perfectly. Kendall's daywear is a masterclass in elevated simplicity. She's not someone who relies on bold logos or loud styling tricks to stand out. Instead, she builds her daily looks with intention, structure, and a deep understanding of proportion. When you break down her street style, you quickly realize that most of her outfits come from the same base formula, but it's the way she puts them together that makes them feel fresh and cool every single time. She often layers oversized shirts or jackets over crop tops, keeping things breezy but put together. Footwear is where she keeps things grounded. Loafers, sambas, or sleek sneakers with white socks are all part of her signature off-duty look. Even her activewear moments are styled. She's often seen in black biker shorts and sports bras, layered under a crisp shirt or cropped hoodie, finished with white crew socks and chunky sneakers. It's sporty, but there's always a level of curation that keeps it from feeling too casual or lazy. Her go-to daywear brands include The Row, Totem, and The Frankie Shop, all labels known for impeccable tailoring and understated luxury. And when it comes to accessories, she keeps it tight. Thin sunglasses, a leather tote, a small gold hoop, maybe a cap or vintage-inspired belt. The overall vibe? Effortless but curated. What makes Kendall's daywear so powerful is that it looks effortlessly put together. It's the kind of style that feels both attainable and aspirational. You can recreate the silhouettes easily, but capturing her level of polish takes a bit more finesse. Her clothes don't wear her, she wears them, with quiet confidence. Whether she's going to lunch in West Hollywood, heading to a casting, or just walking to Pilates, Kendall approaches every look like it matters. And that's the core of her style philosophy. Dress with purpose, even when you're dressing down. Kendall Jenner's night out style is sleek, sexy, and always intentional. She doesn't go for flashy, overstyled looks. Instead, she relies on well-cut silhouettes, rich textures, and clean lines to make an impact. Her formula is simple but powerful, one standout element per look, whether it's a sheer panel, a plunging neckline, or a dramatic open back. Everything else stays understated. She often reaches for slinky fabrics like satin, leather, or mesh, materials that add just enough drama without being overwhelming. Her color palette sticks to what she knows works, mostly black, white, deep reds, and the occasional earth tone, but it's the fit and structure that really make the look. And then there's her beauty styling. Kendall's hair for evening is either slicked back into a bun, softly waved and parted down the middle, or pulled into a high ponytail. She rarely experiments with elaborate updos or accessories. Her makeup is sultry but neutral. Think golden skin, soft contour, a brown smoky eye, brushed up brows, and either a glossy nude lip or a rich matte brown. Accessories are kept to a minimum, sometimes just a clutch and simple hoops, or a sculptural ring and nothing else. The absence of clutter in her styling is part of what makes her night out look so effective. Every detail is edited, nothing is random, nothing screams for attention. Kendall's approach to party dressing is, at its core, about intentional simplicity. It's not about wearing the loudest thing in the room. It's about showing up in something that fits you perfectly, moves with your body, and makes you feel like the best version of yourself. Kendall's red carpet appearances are an extension of her personal style. Modern, streamlined, and often a little daring. She doesn't rely on heavy embellishments or voluminous gowns. Instead, she's drawn to body-hugging silhouettes, sheer panels, and couture that lets her figure and poise shine. Some of her standout moments include the sheer Schiaparelli gown she wore at Cannes in 2018, her 2021 Met Gala Givenchy look, inspired by Audrey Hepburn, and the dramatic corseted Jean-Paul Gaultier dress she wore to the Oscars afterparty in 2023. Across the years, Kendall has also worked with designers like Versace, Alexandre Vauthier, and Rami Kadi, always choosing looks that blend sensuality with structure. You'll rarely, if ever, see her in something overly frilly, hyper-feminine, or fussy. She's drawn to sharp tailoring, sheer fabrics, long lines, and exposed skin that's shown with confidence and taste. Even her color choices are thoughtful. She tends to favor neutrals, black, white, metallics, and earth tones. Occasionally, she'll play with red or deep wine hues, but even then it's done in a way that feels timeless rather than trendy. The texture of the garment often becomes the wow factor, whether it's silk, tulle, crystal beading, or latex. The fabric is always working hard. Her hair and makeup on the red carpet remain consistent with her everyday look, just slightly elevated. Most of the time, she wears her hair slicked back or tucked behind her ears, creating a clean canvas that lets the gown and her bone structure shine. Makeup-wise, she goes for radiant skin, neutral tones on the eyes, a soft contour, and a peachy or nude lip. It's never theatrical. It's glowing, defined, and always camera-ready. What sets Kendall apart is that she never seems like she's trying too hard. She knows what works for her body, she knows how to move in a gown, and she knows how to create a moment without needing gimmicks. On the red carpet, she doesn't perform. She glides. In a sea of showy dresses and over-accessorized looks, Kendall's style remains cool, deliberate, and chic. Her red carpet choices reinforce the same style message she delivers daily. Less can be more, and when done right, minimalism can be absolutely unforgettable. Even when she's off the clock, Kendall Jenner never misses a fashion moment. Whether she's on vacation in Aspen or at a music festival in the desert, her looks always feel curated, intentional, and in line with her signature aesthetic: clean, cool, and quietly trend-setting. When she's on holiday, Kendall leans into the location, but always with her own twist. In colder destinations like Aspen, you'll see her in long, tailored coats layered over turtlenecks or knits, with leather pants or wide-leg trousers and sleek boots. It's a après-ski meets minimalist city chic. She often adds texture, think shearling jackets, chunky scarves, and bold sunglasses, but never overloads the look. In warmer climates, Kendall's vacation style becomes lighter and airier. She'll wear swimwear layered under breezy button-downs or sheer dresses, often using her bikini tops as a styling piece with linen trousers or long skirts. Her palette stays neutral, lots of whites, blacks, olive greens, and earthy browns, all styled in a way that feels relaxed but elevated. Then there's festival season, where Kendall really shines without ever going over the top. Unlike many celebrities who opt for exaggerated boho looks, Kendall keeps her Coachella outfits rooted in fashion-forward simplicity. Her hair at festivals is usually loose and lived in. Soft waves, braids, or a middle-parted ponytail. Makeup stays bronzy and dewy, with a focus on fresh skin and a natural lip, perfect for long outdoor days. What makes Kendall's vacation and festival style so memorable is her ability to stay true to herself while still adapting to the setting. She's never overdressed or underdressed, just perfectly in tune with the mood, always comfortable, and always ahead of the curve. Here's where Kendall's style really comes to life, through simple, intentional combinations that speak louder than trends ever could. Each of these looks follows her signature formula, a sense of balance, clarity, and quiet confidence. You'll notice how nothing feels forced. There's space to breathe in every outfit, even when the silhouette is bold or the styling is unexpected. She plays with shape, proportion, and texture, but never all at once. It's always about choosing one focal point and letting the rest support it. When she's dressing up, it's all about texture. A satin dress, a sheer blouse, leather pants, something that adds dimension without overpowering the look. Her palette stays neutral, and the styling is always edited. Even in vacation or festival settings, the formula holds ease with polish. Accessories are kept simple and intentional. Sunglasses, a baseball cap, a clean bag, or a belt to shape the waist. Nothing extra, just enough. These outfits feel effortless, but every detail is considered. Even the most relaxed looks carry a sense of direction. There's movement, structure, and just enough edge to keep things interesting, without ever going over the top. Let these outfit combinations inspire you to refine your own wardrobe, to style with purpose, and to remember that sometimes the most powerful look is the one that speaks quietly, but leaves a lasting impression. Kendall's hair and makeup are essential parts of her signature look. Her hairstyles range from sleek buns and middle-parted waves to casual clips and ponytails. Always minimal, always clean. Her makeup is soft and sculpted. Glowy skin, neutral eyeshadows, fluffy brows, and either a nude lip or soft brown tones. She rarely experiments with bold color, and instead keeps things natural and warm. She's also a skincare girl. Her radiant complexion is the result of a consistent, gentle routine and a love of regular facials. That glow you see? It's real, and it's part of her entire aesthetic. Kendall Jenner is the face of quiet luxury, effortless dressing, and wearable minimalism. In a fashion era where maximalism and fast trends are everywhere, Kendall stands out by keeping it clean, calm, and collected. She's a muse for designers and a reference point for influencers, the kind of style icon that translates across age groups and aesthetics. Her ability to turn basics into something striking is what makes her current relevance so strong. From TikTok trend boards to Pinterest mood boards, Kendall's style is everywhere. Not because it's flashy, but because it's timeless. If you want to truly embrace Kendall Jenner's style, start by thinking less about what you wear and more about how you wear it. Her look isn't about chasing trends or owning the newest designer drop. It's about consistency, restraint, and an incredibly sharp eye for proportion and detail. First, focus on fit and silhouette. Kendall's outfits are almost always built around one key shape: a strong shoulder, a cinched waist, a perfectly relaxed pant leg, and everything else is styled to support that shape. Whether she's wearing denim or a couture gown, the balance of lines and structure is what gives her outfits their impact. Next, edit. Her style is about clarity. She doesn't pile on accessories or layer without purpose. There's always one standout detail, and everything else steps back to let it shine. Whether it's a long coat, a sharp shoe, or a clean neckline, she builds around that one focal point and lets it lead the look. Then there's texture and tone. Kendall relies on a mostly neutral palette: blacks, whites, creams, olive, muted browns, but what makes it interesting is the mix of materials: leather against cotton, silk against wool, mesh over denim. It's never loud, but it's never flat either. Playing with these contrasts adds quiet depth to every outfit. Don't be afraid of masculine pieces. Oversized blazers, loose trousers, structured coats. Kendall often borrows from traditionally masculine tailoring and softens it with her own femininity. That contrast is a huge part of her visual signature. And perhaps most importantly, wear your clothes with confidence. Kendall doesn't need a lot of layers or loud accessories to get noticed. She knows her style, and she wears it with ease. That confidence, not just in what she's wearing, but in how she carries it, is what makes her style so magnetic. So, if you're building your own wardrobe in the spirit of Kendall Jenner, think clean over cluttered, structured over trendy, and thoughtful over excessive. Choose pieces that feel strong but quiet. Invest in fit. Be intentional with every layer and let your style speak, even when you're not saying anything at all. Kendall Jenner is the definition of modern minimalism, a woman who dresses with clarity, elegance, and quiet confidence. Her wardrobe proves that fashion doesn't have to be loud to be unforgettable. If you're drawn to simplicity, structure, and sophistication, she's the perfect muse. Let me know in the comments who you want me to cover next in this celebrity style series. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and save this video if you're building your own elevated wardrobe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.